Story 1, TIFU. By assuming my Cambodian in-laws and wife like Cambodian cuisine. Located in the United States, there is generally not many Cambodian restaurants, and many that do exist are bundled up with Thai or Vietnamese cuisine. This meant a majority of my experience with my wife and her family was eating at non-Cambodian restaurants. The few times we did go to Cambodian restaurant, it was Vietnamese or Thai bundled up. My in-laws don't cook, so never had an at-home dinner with them. I'm Asian too and felt bad we never went to their cuisine and assumed they were avoiding Cambodian restaurants out of convenience for others. A few nights ago I decided to surprise my wife and in-laws by bringing them to an authentic full-blown Cambodian restaurant. No Thai or Vietnamese dish. From the start it was awkward because I didn't know Cambodian dishes and I came in expecting them to be excited, happy, and take over in ordering. In reality my in-laws and wife were pretty stoic and pretty much had me order dishes from the menu. After dinner and saying goodbye, I asked if something was wrong with the restaurant I chose, and that's when I found out that her family doesn't like Cambodian food. She assumed I would have realized that since they never went to or chose Cambodian restaurants. For the curious, one uniquely Cambodian dish is fish amok. TLDR, Cambodian restaurants are not common. Thought it would be a nice gesture to take Cambodian in-laws to Cambodian restaurant. Wife and in-laws were indifferent and it felt like they were going for me. Find out after they don't like Cambodian food. Womp Womp Rats says, my wife works with a team that's half in the US and half in India. The Indians come over about once a year for meetings. Her boss was stressing out about finding a good Indian place for them in our pretty bland city, till one of them basically said, why would we come all the way to America just to eat Indian food? Let's have Italian. Hyundai GT says, your FU was when you decided to not even have a conversation with the wife before planning the dinner. And that is when everything went amok. Snubble says, what do you mean they don't cook? Story 2, TIFU. By telling my husband how much I was attracted to him. See edits below for answers to some FAQs. I 26F and my husband 28M have been married for 5 years and have known that him about that long as well. Before I get into this, let me give a little backstory because it provides some necessary context. We both grew up in a high-demand religion with a very intense purity culture. It is not uncommon in the culture of our religion to marry young and fast, and start having kids right away. We unfortunately fit right into that stereotype. We were just two horny young people who dove head in and there was no one around us telling us no. The last 5 years haven't been easy, but we do genuinely love each other and have both put in a lot of effort to make it work, and this last year especially has been a good year for us. I mention the above because part of what we've been working on is being more affectionate and intimate with each other. So we were in bed and we were just having some pillow talk, telling each other things that we liked about each other. At one point I told him that I thought about him all the time when he's gone for work, works a very demanding job, with overnight 12.5-hour shifts, how handsome I think he is and how much I miss him. Here's where I fuck up. I also tell him I think about him when I touch myself and imagine that it's him. He looks at me and looks away and is clearly uncomfortable. He says, oh. And I'm like, oh? What's wrong? Does that make you uncomfortable? And he says that it caught him off guard and he is a little uncomfortable. Y'all, I was shaking in my boots. I'm like, you are my husband. I have 2 children with you. We've been married and have been having sex for 5 years. Why on God's earth would it make you uncomfortable to know that your wife thinks of you in moments of private? All he had to say to that was that it just surprised him. I pushed for more details, but admittedly I probably sounded upset because I was. He got defensive, so I just dropped it because I honestly don't even know what to say. I should have known it would go down like this. This man absolutely refuses to talk about sex outside the act itself. Will not sext, will not flirt, nothing, which is a complete 180 from when we were dating engaged. It's been a thing I've tried to respect but also have had to talk him about and remind him that I'm his wife, not his best buddy, thus us working on affection and intimacy with one another. I don't know if the purity culture has just screwed with him and created a mental block in his head regarding sex. I don't know if it's related to me and how he feels about me. I genuinely don't know, and I honestly don't know if he knows either. Anyway, I'm up and still thinking about it. I went to bed shortly after that conversation, just feeling really disappointed and somewhat rejected in a way. What I do know is that his reaction has definitely ruined my own private time with myself, because if he pops up in my head during it, I'll just remember what he said and it will totally kill the mood. Not sure if I even feel like I want to be physically intimate with him anytime soon either after that. I don't know, but hours later I'm still cringing on the inside thinking about this. Reddit, if you've been in this position, mine or his, please let me know and give me some insight. TLDR, I told my husband I think about him during my own intimate moments and his reaction ruined it probably for the rest of my life. Edit I addressed these in the comments but thought I'd put it up here for all to see. 1. Yes, we both grew up Mormon. No, we are not Mormon anymore and have not been for a few years now. 2. We both have our private time and we are okay with each other doing. We are also okay with each other watching porn as well. I also know for a fact that my husband doesn't do it often as Hess monitored, constantly at work and then at home. Hess always with us and usually falls asleep before me, so I don't think those are the root of the problem here. 3. It became very clear early on in our marriage that I have a high libido and he has a low one, so I've had to navigate through that and haven't always done it well. Long Jumping Idea 8552 says, TLDR, not a fuck up on your part, and maybe, depending on what he does next, not really one in his either. Just two people grappling with the effects of social conditioning. If you guys truly love each other as much as you say, then I'd lean more towards the purity culture thing, making him feel uncomfortable rather than you yourself. Does he masturbate at all? He may feel a lot of shame around sexual activities outside of PIF sex, which could have caused his reaction to what you said. I'd say most people would find it pretty hot to know their partner thought about them like that, especially after marriage and/or kids, but strict religious upbringings are great at making people feel dirty. Are you guys adventurous at all? It's perfectly fine to enjoy 100 vanilla sex, but is what you're doing currently enjoyable, or is it what you've been told you should enjoy? Purity culture is insanely restrictive, and any thoughts, including perfectly natural ones, that land outside of that culture are demonized. Even when you escape that environment, it can take years to no longer feel shame around intimacy. His reaction to me doesn't seem disgusted, just unsure. I know a lot of comments may jump to him hating that you find pleasure not given directly by him, but I don't think that's completely fair. If he had yelled, or said something demeaning, then I'd probably agree that this is a my magical dick should be the only thing to touch you scenario, but without more info that can't be said for sure. Take a little time to sort things out for yourself. It's natural to feel self-conscious rejected after a reaction like that. If you can, talk to him in a calm moment when neither of you have any prior commitments to worry about, and just be honest. Ask him why the thought of you masturbating to him made him uncomfortable. Is it masturbation in general that's bothering him? Female masturbation? The fact that it was you? These are tough questions both to ask and to answer. Don't back him into a corner, but make sure he knows that this is important to you. Be prepared for whatever answers he may give. They may not be what you expect, what you want to hear. Be conscious of his feelings, but also your own. Don't trade your self-confidence and worth to make a comfortable bubble for him. Good luck however this turns out. Nothing you did or said was wrong or gross. Arabu Umi Hebi says, Oh Mormonism. Nath_Davis 98 says, how's the weather in Utah? Story 3, TIFU Alcoholism. I just woke up. It's about 4 a.m. I was drinking while my wife was at work. I don't remember going to sleep, and she's asleep on the couch. I can only assume she's pissed at me, because neither of us particularly like that couch. I don't know why I keep doing this sort of thing, drinking till I forget the world, but I keep doing it. Better for a while, then I fuck up and get drunk. I don't want to be like this, but I keep finding myself in the same place. Makes me wonder if I even want to actually be alive. I've had a near-death experience, getting shocked bad enough that I was apparently unconscious for a while, and I saw nothing. I saw the world at 60 Hz for a couple seconds maybe? Then everything narrowed to a tunnel and then nothing. And it hurt, real bad. That's what they don't tell you about getting electrocuted. It hurts the whole time. I don't feel there's any great reward waiting for me after death. It just sounds peaceful. It's also something I just can't do. Yeah, there's nothing after, but there's also nothing after, and that sounds pretty boring. So I guess my question is, how do I stop drinking myself to death? I don't want to die. I don't want to hurt the people I love like that. But I seek oblivion. I love that moment when nothing seems to exist. To matter. When I can't remember. My wife does not. I guess that's where the conflict stems from. I've got every reason to be happy, and I mostly am. But when I'm alone and it's quiet, I guess I'm not. And then I drink till I feel nothing. Then she gets home from a 12-hour shift to a dopey, drunk son of a bitch she was dumb enough to marry. I hate being this way. TLDR, I guess I'm trying to reconcile the call of the void with living a happy life. And I'm an alcoholic. Slew 10 says, stop drinking, you can do this. I promise, you are worth it. Benixv says, hey man, if you want to talk, DM me. I've been sober 4.5 years, and I'm in AA, but I'm not gonna make you go or anything and be happy to just chat it out and answer any questions you might be curious about. Subject_Jellyfish 494 says, did the exact same thing last night. Don't remember anything past 5-ish. Woke up at 3 hating myself. Had a good run with sobriety. Back to day 1. Sucks doesn't. Thanks for watching, I love you. Follow Reddit Echoes for more.